You know, Daniel wanted to fight. He's a fighter. He wanted to fight. He said, "I'll be all right." I said, "No, you're not going to be all right." And the father, the same thing. We're both in agreement. He's not going to let his son get in the ring who's not well. I'm the coach. I'm not going to allow him. Frank Warren, the promoter. Yeah. So I think it was a good decision, irrespective.
The real reason behind the fighter's exit from the Parker fight wasn't just about sickness. There's a deeper story at play. When asked about not feeling well, no proper explanation was given, and Frank Warren seemed to be covering up what was really happening. This wasn't just a case of bad health. It went far beyond that. The truth is, he was about to retreat, and this wasn't due to fear. It was something far more complex. Observers, including Warren, clearly didn't believe this was the move of a fighter ready for war. Instead, it looked more like an executioner escaping judgment. The emotional toll on the fighter's family has only added to the growing speculation. Caroline isn't backing down, and Daniel's support system is locked in, trying to manage the damage. But the red flags were everywhere.
I got a phone call from the father, Daniel Dubois. He said, "You better come upstairs because Daniel is not well. Okay, he's not feeling well." So I'm the head coach. I've gone up to Daniel's room. What is the problem? He said, "He's not feeling well." I said, "How bad is it?" He said, "Well, the dad, we called a doctor. We spoke to Frank Warren, and they sent a Riyadh doctor who came to examine Daniel, which he did."
Explanation was needed, yet what we got felt more like an attempt to sweep things under the rug. A medical excuse was stamped onto the situation, but the reality was obvious. Parker was continuing his rise through the heavyweight ranks, while his opponent was being dragged into an unforgiving situation. Fighters at this level don't get the luxury of time. They either step up or step aside. Charles, in this case, just exposed the desperation behind the scenes. Let's be real. This wasn't a decision made by the fighter alone. It's clear that the management and promotional team played a role. Frank Warren, the man behind the scenes, had to protect his fighter's reputation. But now, questions remain. Was this truly a health issue, or was it something else entirely? Let us know what you think in the comments.
Said there was some reddened inner ears, could be infection, whatever. I'm not a doctor. Took blood samples, urine sample. Again, within 20 minutes, he, from his findings, the results, he said, "I recommend that he doesn't fight on Saturday." It's almost like our world had ended when he gave us that, when he said, "I recommend that he doesn't fight on Saturday."
Comments. Meanwhile, the heavyweight division keeps moving forward, and the frustration is boiling over. The hype around Parker's rise is undeniable, and this latest controversy only adds fuel to the fire. His team is locked in, sending a clear message. They're focused on the future. On the other hand, this unexpected withdrawal has left a stain on the other side's legacy. This was supposed to be a generational showdown, but instead, it turned into a stolen opportunity. Boxing politics continue to shape careers, and Daniel was suddenly forced to settle the score in ways no one expected. But a rematch won't erase what happened. At the end of the day, standing your ground is what matters in this sport. If you exit at the wrong time, it could define your entire career. The heavyweight division isn't waiting for anyone, and now the world is watching. Who will step up next? Let's be real. This was never a genuine challenge. The so-called final boss doesn't miss, and the gap in skill was always
career. But Dubois is now expected to chase a rematch with Alexander Usyk, who holds the WBA, WBC, WBO, and Ring World Heavyweight titles. Dubois' dad, Stan Dubois, briefly spoke to the Ring about his son's future plans and what caused him to pull out of his scheduled fight last week with Joseph Parker. He said, "Next we want Usyk. It's frustrating about the Parker fight, but he couldn't fight with an infection. Usyk is who we're going after."
On the other hand, is clear. Pressure, superior technique, and raw talent were all on one side, setting the stage for yet another one-sided destruction. True contenders don't just survive, they rise to the occasion. But this wasn't that. Wembley was supposed to witness a battle, but instead, it looked like another masterclass in dominance. The truth is becoming painfully obvious. This was never about facing the best. It was about maintaining an illusion, protecting a narrative rather than proving anything in the ring. So when Daniel pulled out, it wasn't just about an injury. It was about avoiding a brutal reality. The challenger was never ready. The cracks in the story are widening, and the fans can see it. Is this a case of strategy, or just another overhyped fighter avoiding the inevitable? Let us know in the comments. Does legacy matter, or is this just another dodge?
Who do you think wins between Dubois and Usyk?
Probably Usyk. I think you'd be foolish to bet against him. I think Dubois has made a lot of improvements under Don Charles. I think it's a tougher fight for Usyk. But I think, he's proved himself to be an all-time great. And although Dubois might be able to put him under a bit more pressure now, I still think Usyk will be able to outthink him and get the result.
On the other side of the conversation, the real discussion is about the politics behind the scenes. How solid is the shot at the title? One thing is certain. Nam could be the key to understanding how domination works in the ring. While Brown isn't the one making the financial decisions, he's not afraid to speak his mind. Caroline's situation is different. Her path in boxing has been about taking on the best, proving herself at every step. With her next major fight on the horizon, the question remains, will this be the moment that challenges the system? The pay gap issue is unavoidable, and fans are watching closely. Unlike others who hesitate to address it, Caroline isn't backing down. The truth is, in combat sports, there's no room for excuses. Caroline isn't just fighting, she's reshaping the game, proving she belongs.
So to be able to get them power shots off, but
Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Now, this is the interesting one. Daniel Dubois was meant to fight Joseph Parker 2 weeks ago, but he pulled out due to an illness. And all of a sudden, there's rambling, there's words going around, rumors going around that they already signed a deal. That fight is going to take place likely in June at Wembley Stadium.
At the highest level. Some may argue that external factors play a role, but skill speaks for itself. Her first encounter with adversity only highlighted the real power behind her rise. Was this about protection, or was it pure strategy? The reality is harsh. At this level, talent alone isn't enough. Fighters must take risks, and those who hesitate will be left behind. When they meet again, it won't be the same story. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more boxing updates.